because at the start of my personal development journey was looking at more of the like the power of now, the secret is like the positivity. Think about all the positive things, like bring in the laws of attraction, doing all that sort of shit, doing all like the fucking nice things. And I
Yeah.
guess look like what it says, I guess looking after like the light and love side of things, the spirituality side of things. But that the thing that is like that's only going to get you to a certain point. Whereas like the quote that changes it for me, the quote to summarize it up for me is a Carl Jung quote that I always butcher, but it's like a tree's leaves can't touch heaven unless its roots touch hell. So it's like we cannot have the full brightness, the full light and love unless we actually go into the depth of our darkness as well.
Alrighty, so guys, welcome back to another episode. And I promised this a few weeks back that I was going to be starting to do some interviews on the channel and on the podcast, and it's just life shit. Things have happened, and it's not kind of come to fruition. So today we're back. This is kind of the first since I've relaunched the podcast slash YouTube channel. This is the first interview that I've kind of done on the channel, so I'm quite excited about it. So today I'm here with my good friend Finn McKenna Fox, who runs the Grounded Masculine. And I'm not going to butcher that in any way and try and introduce it. I'm going to leave Finn to do that because he's a bit more clued up to what he does. So it's a men's coaching program that I've been through personally, and it's fucking phenomenal. So I'll leave Finn to kind of tell you all about that. But today we're going to be talking about, I think, all sorts of things. We'll see where the conversation takes us. There are a few different things that I want to talk to Finn about. One from the kind of men's coaching, like being a father, all that kind of that whole side of things. But then also Finn's a pretty good runner. So of late you'll notice that my content has been a lot to do with running and my kind of foray into half marathons and my desire now to go and run ultra marathons. Finn's done all that shit. So there might have to be two podcasts that we do, but I'm sure we can kind of arrange that. We'll see where this
Yeah.
conversation goes, and if we can
See,
squeeze, we
we'll
can.
see where it goes. We'll see where it goes for sure.
So before we dive in and I let kind of Finn tell you what we do, as always, the usual housekeeping stuff that I'm really shit at doing. If you're enjoying these videos, give us a little like, give us a share. And I think that's it. And maybe comment, drop us a wee comment, and just follow the page, support what we're doing. That way we can get more quality content out for you. And if there's anything you want to see, then just let me know. And that's about it. I think that's the housekeeping done. I will get this dialed in
Perfect.
eventually. I think maybe, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, Finn, listen, man. We've
Yeah.
now back and forward on my channel and your channel, so I'm super excited to actually get a proper official one on my podcast. I think the last one was in my Facebook group.
Yeah.
Back, so super excited to get this on the go, man. But before we dive in, man, give us a kind of a brief rundown, like what you do, who you are, and
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so fuck, where to start? Like, it's always an interesting one. It's been a journey, but yeah, basically for myself, I'm men's coach. Work through the Grounded Masculine is the main thing that I focus on for myself. And so, I come from sports physio background, worked in health and wellness for 20 something years, 20 plus years. Like, I was always really interested in that side of things, but it's been about 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago is when I started like really to delve into the personal development side of things. Like myself and my missus moved from Ireland, went off to Australia, and I kind of once we were away from like all the heaviness of the homeland and stuff like that, and all of the conditioning that comes with that, like we were given free rein to just explore who we were. So that set me off on a very big path to kind of personal development, getting super curious with myself and what was going on, as well as with clients and with people, because I just fucking love working with people and understanding how they operate and how I can best support them to get the most out of their bodies and most out of themselves. And then yeah, pretty much like over that next 10 years, like that just constantly transformed and shifted and changed as I was kind of learning more, studying more, doing more myself. And yeah, like that's where basically the Grounded Masculine was born, where about 5, 6 years ago, I started focusing more so specifically supporting fathers, and I basically transformed guys how to show up for themselves and how to show up for their families. And it's basically stripping things back to looking after their self, which is their mental and emotional well-being, looking after their health, which is looking at their exercise, nutrition, and recovery, looking after the relationships, be it with partners, kids, co-workers, that sort of thing, and then looking after the career. So it's like shining a light on what's going on within the career prospects, finance, all of that sort of stuff. So that's the kind of four pillars of the Grounded Masculine that I work with.
Nice, nice. What was the catalyst that got you, like, obviously, because you went from the kind of sporting background,
Yeah.
help people with their health, their fitness, all that kind of stuff. What was the catalyst that made you then want to kind of work like with fathers and kind of go into the emotional side, the spiritual side, all that kind of, the inner work, if you will. What kind of was the
Yeah.
drive behind that?
I think a big thing was it's I always followed my own curiosity. There was like going through the everything that I was doing. Like when we first went to Australia and stuff like that, like I could have easily went down one path of going down like exercise physiologist and like here's like you work in clinical setting, you do all of that stuff. But then I found it's like if I boxed myself off so much in that, it wasn't allowing myself then to like look at all of these other things that I have looked at personally myself, that I have used personally myself to help me. So that's why it kept my options open more so with it. And then for kind of stepping more working with fathers, like I actually had a lot of fucking resistance working with fathers, and that's why I only started doing it over the last kind of four years or so, because I was working both with men and women, and then transitioned to working with just all men about 6 years ago, and then it was a couple like I wanted to work with fathers, but I was like I don't have my shit together enough as a father to work with fathers directly with that, but like that was just all my own story and everything with it. But I think the biggest catalyst for me was was my own journey and was my own struggles that I went through. Because I think again, it's like working in this industry, working head of clinic, head like was doing a lot of coaching like about 8 years ago, like in like the health and wellness space, and like between like movement and holistic lifestyle coaching and stuff like that, was doing a lot of that stuff. But before I became a father, and then when I became a father, I pretty much lost myself because I just wanted to. I wasn't training as much. I lost friendships because I just put all of my spare time between either work and my family and nothing for myself. And then like between like not investing any time in myself, not having strong friendships that I invested into, a lot of things kind of started getting on top of me. And then it was just there was a kind of a couple of like really unfortunate kind of big events that kind of happened over a short succession of time that just fucking sideswiped me, between like family members getting super sick and just financial pressure and a few different things. Like all of that came on really heavy over a course of about a 6 month period. And like it just got to the point where I was like, I'm fucking broken. And I can't keep wearing the masks that I have my shit together. So that's when it was like I put my hand up. It's like, right, I'm not okay. I need some help. I need to do something different. And that's where I started to get the support myself. For what I needed. I changed a few big situations within my work situation, all of that sort of stuff, and I started actually getting the help that I needed, because I think as a man, we don't really do very well asking for help. And it's like we just that whole thing is like I'm trying to provide for my family, I'm trying to fucking kick ass with work and trying to do all of these things, but at the end of it, it was like I was only half doing all of them and not none of them not doing any of them really well. And yeah, so it just kind of got to that point where I needed to kind of like change a lot of the stuff that I was doing, and then over the next couple of years of working on myself, of doing a lot more men's work, connecting with men, working with a lot of the wounds that I had around that, and like around like unhealthy masculine role models and all of that stuff. I never had any of that growing up. That kind of showed me the importance of that as men, and especially for fathers. And then over the next few years, that's what kind of opened up me to want to move and transition my work more so into that, and that's where we are now.
I love it, man. I love it. I think it's really important because I think, like you and I spoke about this before a few times, man. That there seems to be such a huge problem just now, especially for men, where we don't want to kind of tell people what's going on because we don't want to be seen as weak. We don't want to be seen as people that can't handle our shit. So we try and pretend that we have got everything all figured out. And even I think right now when you look at social media as well, like I've done a few kind of posts on this of late. Everybody's just posting their highlight reels. Everybody's posting
Yeah,
everything that's going right in their life, and or they're taking fake pictures of themselves next to Ferraris and all this kind of shit. And people are looking at this and thinking, "Man, they've just got everything so figured out." And it's like,
yeah,
do you know what, man? Like, people don't have everything figured out. Like most 9 out of 10 people, I think, are absolutely winging the shit out of their life, and they
yeah,
just make it look like they've got it all figured out. Whereas the reality is, man, everybody's got problems. Everybody's got things that are going on, and
yeah,
some people are good at hiding it. Is it healthy to hide it? Probably not, man. It's probably
yeah.
not. Is it healthy to kind of open up and talk about about it? Yeah, absolutely, man. Is it healthy to moan and whine about it and talk about it excessively? Probably not. I think there's a balance that we need to strike somewhere in the middle. But
Yeah.
I think to just sit and kind of hide all that shit and not talk about it and not tell anybody what's going on, that's such an old model. Like I know that
Yeah.
when I look at my dad's now 80, man, and he trying to talk to him, it's like honestly trying to talk to a stone. Like you'd
Yeah.
probably get more conversation out there, a stone, unless you pick something that he's got a really strong opinion on, and then it'll
Mm.
just be like, rah, and it won't stop. But if there's anything wrong, or if he's struggling with anything mentally or emotionally, he won't tell you. He doesn't tell you
Yeah.
what's going on. And then all of a sudden it comes out in some massive temper tantrum. You know, even
Yeah.
at 80, and it's like, dude, like that's not good for your heart, man. Chill out. Like, holy
But that's it, and that's it, and that's one of the things. It's crazy kind of seeing it. Like that was what I went through back 7, 8 years ago. That caused me I was experiencing that for fucking many years. I was suppressing so much shit down for many, many years. But it wasn't until I actually admitted what was going on for myself and got the help. I was like, all right, fuck, that was massive. But I see it more and more and more now, rather than being less and less. It's like I see more and more guys struggling with this because, again, as you said, fucking social media, it's one of the things, it puts so much pressure on people, and we compare ourselves to all of this other stuff, and you're just as the highlight reels, as you said. But it's one of the things that always happens. Like, no matter how many times I have created a space for guys to come together, and as soon as they come together from fucking all different walks of life, the one thing that they say at the end of that session is, I can't believe other people are going through the same sort of stuff that I'm going through.
yeah, man. Yeah.
And it's one of the things, we can talk about it until the cows come home, but guys don't fucking listen to that stuff.
No.
They don't even hear that. Probably guys listening to this stuff, you're like, yeah, but that's not me. People aren't experiencing the shit that I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
They fucking are. I tell you, they are. There's so many guys who are going through so many similar challenges and experiences, but we just don't talk about them because we don't want to. But guaranteed, if you actually had an open, honest conversation with your friendship circle, there's probably a few guys who could help you, and there's a few guys you could probably help by talking about it. But the only time we have them conversations is fucking 4 o'clock in the morning when everyone's pissed drunk and being on the booze all day. That doesn't even happen. That doesn't even happen anymore because we're all fathers and we don't get a chance to do that.
It's so true, man. I've spoke to a few of my kind of personal training clients over the last, few weeks where they've came to me with things that have been going on in their lives, and they'll say, oh, but that's just how my life goes. And it's like, well, actually, do you know what, man? That's not just how your life goes. That's how most people's life go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like most people are going. I remember I speak about this a lot to my clients, to my friends. I've spoke about it over YouTube videos in my group, or I used to run my Facebook group. When I had a mental breakdown back in 2009, like I was in a horrible place. I was like so depressed. I'd come off the back of being almost a junkie, like pretty much. You know what I mean? Like smashing pills down my neck and drinking all the time and smoking weed every day. And then I got to a point where my life just imploded, man. And I was like, oh Jesus Christ! And I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know what was going on. I was just having really dark thoughts, and it was always this. Well, why does this always happen to me? Why is my life like this? My life is so shit. Why is his life so much better than mine? Why can't I just sort my shit out? Why can nothing good ever happen to me? And I used to think that all the time, and I always just thought it was me and only me that thought that. And my mum gave me a copy of the what the fuck is it called, man? The Secret, the book,
Yeah.
the DVD of The Secret. And I watched that, man, and well, don't get me wrong, I think that can be taken way out of context, and people are like, "Oh, I just need to think about shit," and I was guilty. I was that man. I just need to think about shit, and it'll happen in my life. No, that doesn't work, man. Think about what you
Yeah.
want, and then work towards it, and it'll come. It'll come to you eventually, as long as you keep on working.
Yeah.
But the point that really stuck out for me in that DVD was but it kept on going on about, why people say, oh no, like, why does this always happen to me? Why do I always just get more bills? Or why does this bad thing always keep coming into my life? And it's like, the more you think about bad things, negative things, all that kind of shit, you're just attracting that same shit into your life. And you're essentially asking for it to come in. And I watched this DVD going, hang on a minute, that's what I think. Like, how does
Mm.
that DVD know what I'm thinking? Like, I thought I was the only person that thought like that. And then
Yeah.
it wasn't until I started kind of doing a bit of research, I started that was my turning point in life, man. I started doing some personal development, reading books, asking my friends, look, man, like when you're by yourself, you got a wee voice that goes in your head. Like what kind of things that say to you, and then the things that would come out, I'm like, holy shit, man, holy shit, I'm not
Yeah.
the person that thinks like this.
Yeah.
Everybody does. That wee
Yeah.
voice runs rampant in your head, and before you know it, you're beating yourself up every day, and it's like, fuck, everybody's got this same shit going on, man. Like, what the
Mm.
hell? And I think it's like you say, most men don't want to admit that they've got that going on, or they don't want to ask for help, or they think that, okay, that's okay for you, but my thoughts are different. Well, no,
Yeah.
they're really not, man. They're really not. We're all the same. Our shit still
Yeah.
stinks. Everybody's shit stinks. We all bleed red. We're all the same. We have the same kind of thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people might look like they've got stuff a bit more figured out, but I guarantee inside their head, deep down, there are some weeds growing that are destroying their garden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's madness, man. It really
Yeah.
is. But like, see, so like, when it comes to men's work, man, I've obviously I've worked with you, man. I've spent a lot of time kind of talking to you back and forward. I think there's two very different approaches to men's work, and I think they can both be taken to an extreme. Like, to be honest, and I think I touched on this earlier. That you've got to find that wee balance. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. There's a very softy approach, I think, where it's like, oh, just like, men should be able to cry, and I think, yeah, they should. Please don't take that out of context. Men should cry. They absolutely should. I cry all the time, man. But there's also a kind of, I think, a time and a place for it. If I was just sitting in front of Hazel constantly and bubbling my eyes out, she's going to look at me and be like, what the fuck, am I married? Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying I shouldn't be safe to cry in front of my wife, but if I'm just bubbling all the time, then it's like, well,
Yeah.
but then you've got the other side of things, which is like, man up, man, fucking push through, dig dear, which I think there's a place for, but I think it can sometimes get taken to the extreme. Like, what? I don't know what the questions I'm trying to ask here, but there's obviously these two very different approaches to men's work, and then the very two extreme ends of both of those approaches. Like, where
Yeah.
do you kind of lie within that?
Like, again, like with that, like, I can relate so much to it, and there is that two polarizing extremes of it. Like, and that was for me why I went through what I went through when I became a father, because at the start of my personal development journey was looking at more of the, like, the power of now, the secret is like the positivity. Think about all the positive things, like bring in the laws of attraction, doing all that sort of shit, doing all like the fucking nice things. And I
Yeah,
guess looking like what it says, I guess looking after like the light and love side of things, the spirituality side of things. But that the thing that is like that's only going to get you to a certain point. Whereas like the quote that changes it for me, the quote to summarize it up for me is a Carl Jung quote that I always butcher, but it's like a tree's leaves can't touch heaven unless its roots touch hell. So it's like we cannot have the full brightness, the full light and love unless we actually go into the depth of our darkness as well. And for me, that is what I believe like this work needs to be. It's like, yes, have the positive side of it, have that future visioning side of it, all of that side, but we need to also actually sit in the shit. We need to look at what's going on for ourselves. We need to look at our shadows, shine the light on the stuff that we have been burying our head in the sands with, because unless you deal with the stuff down there, it's always going to be the thing that's going to bite you in the ass. It's always going to be the thing that comes up and pulls you back down. So like that's where we need to look at both sides of it. And like that's with a lot of the work that I do. It's like it's looking at helping guys to see that within themselves. It's like it's create a vision for themselves. Like who is it that you want to be? How is it that you want to show up for yourself, for your family? What does that actually look like? Which is that positive side of it. It's like bringing you forward. It's having that vision that's pulling you forward. But then it's like, all right, let's look at what's the fucking stuff that's pulling you back down. What's the things that you're avoiding?
mm,
What's them stories that you're telling yourself? Where's the shame? Where's the guilt? Where's all of that fucking shit that you do not want to look at? And again, that's why, like, I feel it's like it's really hard to do this work on your own, and that's why a lot of guys really struggle, because they read the books, listen to the podcasts, follow all of the people. I'm doing all of this stuff. I'm doing my fucking Wim Hof breathing. I'm doing my cold ice exposure and fucking doing like 75 hard and doing all of this hard stuff. But because that's the things that are actually comfortable for them. That's the things that like, oh, it's discipline, it's creating that bit, but I'm not actually looking at the big fucking the elephant in the room that I'm not looking at. So that's why I feel is like for guys, it's so important to have people in their corner who can be that dickhead who's like, yeah, what's that thing that you're over avoiding? Is like until we look at that, you're always gonna keep going round in these cycles and keep repeating these patterns.
yeah, yeah, dude. That thing you just said there with the trees is so fucking powerful, man. That's so true. Like, because I think a lot of the times, and this is going back to just kind of brushing things or putting a mask on things. We when a problem surfaces, and this isn't even just for men, man, this is for women. Like I see it with some of the women in my life as well. Like a problem will surface, and then instead of dealing with the problem, instead of dealing with that thing, they'll go, oh, no, 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 no. Let's go to this. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, no, actually, we've still got this thing to deal with. Like, just pushing it to there is not going to fix it. It's not going to fix the
Yeah.
problem. We need to actually look and see what is this thing, right? And
Yeah.
like, so it's X, Y, Z, whatever, right? Okay, now what do we need to do to work past that? What do we need to do to either fix it or, you know, make some adjustments so we can make sure it doesn't happen again? Then we can move forward. But if we just
Yeah.
move forward now and ignore that thing, it's still going to be there. You know,
Yeah.
it's still going to be there, pissing you off. And I think I've been trying to really teach to Cameron, man. Like my wee girl, she's a very emotional wee creature. Like she is like holy shit, man. The slightest wee thing, and we have got the most insane hour-long tantrums you'll ever see. Like screaming and shouting and throwing things, and oh, it's wild, man. But one of the things we always try and say to her is it's okay to feel sad.
Yeah.
Sad. Like there's nothing wrong with it. But then she'll cling on to that and be like, "Oh, you told me it's okay to feel sad." Like, yeah, we did. It's just not okay to stay there.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to feel sad. Let's figure out why you're sad. Like, what's the reason? And you might just be sad. You might just have a day that you're sad. That's okay. But if there's
Yeah.
something that's actually causing the sadness, like
Yeah.
if there's something at the school that's causing you problems, or there's something at home that's causing you problems that you're sad about, it's okay to feel sad about it. What's not okay is to shout and scream at us, or hit us, or try and do all that kind of shit. And what's also not okay is to try and hide it and ignore it. Because if we hide it and ignore it, nothing will get fixed. So we need to feel the sadness and acknowledge that this thing has happened or this thing's going on in our life, whatever it is. But then what do we need to do to then move past that, to get back to
Yeah.
here? Because it feels better to be here. Like being up
Yeah.
here feels way better.
Yeah.
Staying here and clinging on to that or just brushing it to the side and constantly having to think about it, that's just going to leave you feeling like shit.
Yeah.
And, and again, on the opposite side is just ignoring it completely and then just trying to focus on positive. That's also going to leave you feeling like shit because it's still there in the background. So we
Yeah.
need to deal with this one fucking thing. And once we can deal with that, then we can move forward.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Or have I just rambled on?
What? No, 100%. And like it reminds me, like it's like the very first thing that I teach guys that I work with is like one of the core principles of which is living a cause. Like, and what I mean by living a cause is like, there's that whole thing is like you can either live a cause or you can live an effect. And it's like when you're living a cause, is you're taking ownership, you're taking responsibility of what is happening to you. It's like you're taking responsibility of your life, you're taking responsibility of how you're showing up, you're taking responsibility of everything in your environment. Even if you weren't at fault, you were taking responsibility of how you respond to that situation. Whereas when you're living an effect, you're living at effect to life. You're allowing life to happen to you. You're playing the blame game. You're like, oh, but it's easier for such and such because he's doing this, or this dude fucking done that. Like, it's like, I don't give a shit if he done that. It's like, that's not going to have an impact on you unless you allow it to. Whereas like the sooner we can like move away from effect and live more a cause, take that ownership and responsibility, the sooner we can start creating change within our life.
Yeah.
Because the truth of the matter is like when you look at your life, when you look at all of the shit things that have gone wrong in your life, when you look at every single argument that you have had in your life, when you have looked at every single problem that in your life, when you look at every single thing that you fucked up with in your life, as well as all of the amazing things that have happened in your life, there's one common thing that's in every single one of them experiences, and that is you.
Yeah.
So it's allowing yourself to see that, allowing yourself to like, I am the one that's the common denominator of all of this stuff. So I probably should take responsibility of myself more so than.
Yeah, man. Do you think no, this is going to sound like oh no, it's not actually. Of late, man, just through conversations I've had, I'm not going to mention names or kind of like relationships or anything like that, but just people that I've spoken to over the last 3, 4, 5 months, just certain people that are still very much caught in that I can't do this because of that. This doesn't work because of this. This has happened in my life because of such and such. Do you think people avoid doing this kind of work, either working with a coach to help them with it, reading the books, doing the journaling, or just like whatever it may be, any kind of work to make that bit of self improvement? Do they avoid that because they know they're going to have to take that responsibility?
Yeah.
And they don't want to take that responsibility because it's so much easier to just say, well, I can't do that because Ian stood in my way, or
Yeah.
my wife got in the road, or my mum didn't allow me to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
so the next part of that then is where does that stem from? Is that from things that have been lacking through their childhood with their parenting, or is it just things that learn behaviour through media, or is it just
There's
a thing that's happened?
there's there's so much of it. There's so many different layers to it, like where it can come from. Like it's probably individualized for every single person, but at the end of the day, it comes down to like it's a subconscious safety mechanism. It's like subconsciously, it's like we're always looking to create safety within ourselves. It's
Mm.
like their number one thing within the side of ourselves, in our subconscious thinking, is to keep yourself safe, to keep yourself away from harm, and to do a hard thing is can be seen as putting yourself in harm.
Yeah.
And like to do the hard work on yourself is fucking hard work. Whereas if it was easy, everyone would be fucking doing it. But it's one of the things. It's like we have like these inbuilt safety mechanisms. This fucking this self sabotage that is keeping us stuck because there is a part of you that believes it's easier for you to stay stuck where you are.
Mm.
And it comes down to one of the things that's been like coming up quite a lot, like for with clients and stuff like that. It's like you either choose the easy things now, but you're going to have a hard future, or you choose the hard things now for an easy future.
Yeah, yeah.
But so many of us are like, and the way the society's built up now is choose the easy life now. Here's the quick fucking dopamine hit. Here's the quick satisfaction. And it's like, I'll just do this mollycoddle here, and everything else be okay down the track. But it's like, it's not because fucking the people who hasn't been doing anything for themselves, years pass, and you're still having the same fucking same shitty situations playing out.
Yeah, man. Yep. Do you know something? This again, this is going back, and this isn't a slight, this isn't a judgment on parents. It's just I watch my mum doing it. My mum does this with Cameron, so this isn't a judgment thing. It's not you shouldn't be doing that. I'm righteous because I've done it. I have.
Yeah,
It's just a thing. But and I'm better at it now, which now gets me a lot of "you're the worst dad in the whole world ever," which is cool,
yeah.
man. That means I'm doing my job right. I'm all right with that. But the amount of parents that I see giving in to their kids the minute a tantrum comes on,
hmm
it's like, holy shit, man. And my mum does it. My mum, like, Cameron will be like, she'll ask for a teddy. My mum will say no. Cameron will ask for the teddy again. My mum will say no. Cameron will ask for the teddy a third time with a pouted lip. Oh, okay, let's just get you the teddy. Holy
Yeah,
shit. No, just
yeah,
say no. Like, she doesn't need
yeah,
another. She's got 9 million teddies in that bedroom. And after she's played with that for 5 minutes, it's going to end
yeah,
up at the bottom of a box. So she doesn't need
yeah,
it. But
yeah,
the parents, the minute but I want, I seen this outside the school gates when I was picking Cameron up the other day, but I want this. And the kid just ran off and hugged a tree. I won't move till you get me. Oh, okay, we'll go to the sweet shop. What
yeah,
the hell, man? No.
yeah,
So, no, we're not going to the sweet shop. That's not going to get you the thing. And
yeah,
that's a really kind of blunt example right there of, well, I'm going to take the easy path and just buy you those sweeties rather than be the absolute shit right now and put
yeah,
you off and deal with this tantrum. But then
yeah,
in 10 years' time, that's going to have a massive payoff because you're,
yeah.
you're less of an entitled, greedy, selfish little Torak.
Yeah, and
But
that's it. Like, it's such a big thing that in today's society. Is like, is that like is that exact thing? Like, we actually had that happen this morning. And it's like the kids had these fucking silly little toys. I was like, where did this crap come from? It's like that's not stuff that we get. And she was like, don't fucking talk. It's like she was over with her mother yesterday, and like the kids asked for this thing. Like she got it for them, and like as soon as he opened, it's like, oh, I don't like that. So she went and got another one. So like she got them two of the fucking things, and I was just like, what? And like Shona was like, don't ask. But
uh,
it's like, oh, they didn't like they asked for something, didn't like it, so then here's another one. And you're like, what's that teaching them? What is that teaching them? But again, it's like you look back at that sort of stuff, it's like that like it's there's so many fucking layers to that, but it's also looking at it for ourselves, looking at us as adults ourselves. It's like you're feeling like there's you Ian, like you're having a crappy day, you're feeling a bit shit for yourself, you're feeling a bit sorry. Come the evening, like Friday evening, I was like, oh, let's fucking crack a few beers and sit down and how this is a bit of a breather for myself because I deserve this big week. That I deserve this after a shitty week. And then you go and you reach for your phone. It's like, oh, I'll just have a look at my phone, and you start looking at these fucking reels for like a quick fix, and like an hour passes you by, and you're still sitting there scrolling because you're just looking for these quick little hits. You're looking for these quick little hits, but then we wonder why you're struggling in other areas of your life. You wonder why you're not doing better for yourself because you're conditioned yourself so much to have them quick dopamine hits, but then you're not willing to put in hard work in other areas of your life to create something different.
Mm. Dude, that's so true, man. This actually happened to me over the last 2 or 3 days. I seen a thing came up. It was a funny thing. It was like I can't even remember what I searched for, but it came up something cash game tester, and I thought, well, do you know what, man? Like I can't really go and take a job. Like I've got my coaching business, I've got my karate business. I work very much part time at both of those. And it popped up, and I thought, oh, that might be a nice way to make some extra cash without me actually having to leave the house. So I looked at it, I was like, right, okay, I just need to download these games on my phone and like play them for 10 minutes a day or something, and they'll send me money. Oh, okay, cool. And the games, man, honestly, talk about dopamine hits. Like every time you landed on a thing, it gave you coins or you got a present, and it's like, oh, you're just sitting there like that on this phone. And before I knew it, it's like half an hour's passed. I'm like, fuck. And it's not even a good game, it's shit. And I don't even like computer games. But I'm sitting there like this little fucking bear walking across these little things, and then I'm building up an island and I'm getting to chuck coconuts at somebody. I'm like, right, this is fucking, I'm going to make loads of money. And then I went on the thing to check it and I'd made 4 pence. I was like, what the fuck is this? Shite game, man. But I had like three of them, and like yesterday morning I went to play and I went, do you know what, man? I'm going to have to play this for like 2.5 hours every day, sitting getting constant dopamine hits and getting like, oh, you've made 1 million coins, you've got a present, or you've got a pinata stick, go and hit the pinata. Just constant dopamine frying my brain to
Yeah,
make fuck all. And at the very end of it, if I played it for 4 hours a day, I'd have made like 500 quid at the end of the month. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I don't want to give 4 hours of my time just sitting there touching a button on a phone, just getting constantly ploughed with dopamine
yeah,
for really shitty. I was like, fuck that, delete, goodbye, see you. Enough of that, man. It's bad enough that I watch reels on bloody Instagram as it is without like, having more of that nonsense in my life, man. But luckily, I was able to catch that fairly early. But I could see like
yeah.
how people could just get sucked into that, man, and just that constant. Oh, I'll just push. I'll just get my bear to the next island. Like fuck off, God, like, piss off, man. I'd rather go and build my own island. You know what I mean? It's
But
crazy.
yeah, and that's the thing, and that's where we are in today's society with it, and that's why there's so many people fucking struggling, to be honest. It's because it is bloody hard.
Oh, mate.
It's like there's so much pressure on people now. There's so much distractions around us that we never had to fucking deal with before.
Nope.
But I think it's so much of it comes back to as well, is like comes back to your nervous system. So like if you don't know anything about your nervous system, if you don't have a clue how your body reacts to stress and what your coping mechanisms are to deal with stress and to manage it, like it's such a slippery slope, and that's where so many people are caught because again, it's like when your body is in stress, and like it's not just fucking stress at work. It's like when we look at all elements of stress, like when you look at stress, it's like exercise is stress.
Yeah.
It's like you're putting your body in stress.
Yeah.
It's staying up late, not getting enough sleep is stress. It's fucking having bright lights on all the time is stress. It's like having like TV playing, having radio here, having kids screaming at you, that's fucking stress. Having like a deadline at work, that's stress.
Yeah.
Like being fucking in traffic jams is stress. There's like the bill coming in the door, that's fucking stress. Like we're continuously surrounded by stress. And if you aren't aware of that, and if you're not aware of how your body responds to that, it's a very fucking slippery slope because so often that is. It's like we if you bury your head in the sand, if you get stuck into work, or if you look for that avoidance through scrolling on your phone, if you're looking for these quick dopamine hits, if you're reaching for alcohol or fucking porn or whatever that might be, like these are all basically coping mechanisms that you are doing unknowns to yourself to help try to manage the stress in the body.
Mm.
So it's like for us as guys, again, this is where we need to become responsible of ourselves. We need to become responsible over our lives and take a bit of ownership. I was like, right, what's actually going on? What's all of these stresses around here? What's my pattern that I fall into when I'm in a stress state? And then what can it actually do to support myself a little bit differently? Because to be honest, it's like you might fucking feel that you're a lot more relaxed on a Friday night when you stay up to 1 o'clock watching a fucking shitty movie, having a couple of beers and having a scroll on your phone because you deserve that after a stressful week. But guaranteed that next day, like you're paying for it, is like you're feeling tired, you're feeling groggy. It's like how many people on the Saturday morning are fucking getting pissed off and triggered with their kids? because you didn't do something that's actually going to help manage your stress. You just done an easier thing that you can do to numb out and avoid what's actually going on, rather than actually dealing with the stress in a healthy way.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Do you know something, man? Like this is of late. I've been doing my best to try and sit in silence where I can. Like if I'm doing the dishes, I would normally put YouTube on or I'd put a couple of reels on or whatever, and I'd sit and watch that while I'm doing the dishes. Now I won't do that. If I'm cooking dinner, I'll do it in silence. Do you know what I mean? I know I'm doing something, so there's a distraction there, but I've still got at that point there. I need my own thoughts. There's
Yeah,
nothing else going on. I've got my own thoughts. I've seen me sitting in the house where I've went to pick my phone up and went, right, okay, I went to look at my phone. Instead of doing that, let's just put it down and just sit for 5 minutes in complete silence. Or if I'm driving the car, do you know what? I'm only going to Hazel's work. I'm driving up to Hazel's work. I'm going to sit in silence, man. I'm going to sit with absolutely nothing on. And I've told people that I do that. A couple of guys at the karate that I train with, I've told them I do it, and they're like, oh man, I just couldn't do that. It's like, yes, because it's
yeah,
uncomfortable. It's because you've actually just can't do that. Like that today, it's like, holy shit, man, my brain. And it goes back to what we spoke about earlier. But you have no idea the thoughts that go through my brain. Well, no, actually, I do, man, because we all have very similar things that go on. Like our brains are just constantly firing up. They're constantly working. So if
yeah,
you don't take the time to like allow yourself to declutter a wee bit, it's like a computer, man. If you look at a computer, if it gets I just ran a program yesterday on my computer that took like 40 minutes to get through because I hadn't decluttered my computer for such a long time. And it was running
yeah,
slow, it was sluggish, opening programs was sluggish. My laptop down the stairs is gubbed because it's just so full of shit. And I don't have one of these programs on it, so it's just full of crap. It runs
yeah,
so slowly. And that's because it's trying to process so many different things and so many different actions. It can't operate at the full capacity. Your brain's the same, man. If you've just got constant inputs going in, going in, going in, going in, going in, you don't take time to just like
mm,
fucking hell, man. It just
yeah,
stop. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It just
It's
doesn't.
mad, like it's mad, but like it's so funny. Like I was giggling like to myself when you were talking about you sitting in silence. Like that's actually it's coined a term now. It's fucking called raw dogging it. Have you heard that? I was just like I heard one talking about raw dogging it, and I was like, oh, he's actually just sitting and like, he's just with himself. And it's like you're not fucking. You don't have a phone. Like you don't have a distraction. You don't have fucking. You don't have all. You're literally just sitting by yourself. It had to be fucking called the term of raw dogging it.
Raw dogging. I said the first time I seen that was somebody. Who was it? It was a guy called Fergus Crawley that I follow. If you've not followed his content, anyone watching, man, you really should. If you're into running or health and fitness, like of an extreme performance aspect, you should definitely go and check him out. He's phenomenal, man. But he was doing a thing about running, and he was speaking about like not taking your headphones and raw dogging it when you're running. And I was like raw dogging. I was like I've never heard that before. And then it's came up more and
Yeah,
more over the last sort of couple of weeks. So yeah, quite
yeah.
interesting.
But yeah, like, and that's it. Like, but like, there's so many people that scares the shit with them. Like the thought of not having something there to
Mm.
do or to distract themselves with.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like, and like, it's something like I'll catch myself with it as well sometimes, where it's like, you're like, it's like it's like a podcast, it's something that's interesting, or it's something like that, or it's like even just fucking music. And it's just like, actually, like, turn it all off and just have a bit of time just to yeah, like, and that's one of the reasons why I love running so much because like it's something that I've done fucking years and years now. Is when I run is like I listen to not like I don't have anything with me, like it fucking like no tech, no nothing. Like it's like literally only the last couple of months that I got like a wearable watch that tracks my stuff a little bit. But
Yeah.
even like that, I was like I couldn't give a fuck about that. I was like I want to go for a run because that's my space.
Yeah, that's it. Do you know it's a mad thing, man? Like I've got a very much a love-hate relationship with running. Like I love the benefits, I love everything it's doing for me, but fuck, I hate the practice. It's shit. I find it really difficult. But of late, man, have I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Like obviously excuse me, the health and the fitness side, like what it's doing for me cardiovascularly, like my heart. I looked at my resting heart rate this morning on my watch. My watch kind of, again, I'm with you. I don't normally wear wearables. I wear a watch when I go out running, so I can keep a check on my heart rate just to see where it's all at. But then I went to bed with it on last night, and it's read my heart rate, and I had a resting heart rate of 45 through the night. I was like, happy days, man. So, like, I can see the benefit of me doing that kind of exercise. I can feel the benefit. I feel fitter. We went up on Monroe in the summertime. We were up in Glencoe, and it was one that we had done the year before, and there's one section in it, man, that is I call the devil staircase and I know there is an actual devil staircase, but this thing is like horrendous, man. It's like the stairway to hell. It's like just it's brutal. And I was telling everybody, like, oh, you know, when we get to this one bit, and the other guy that climbed it with me, he was like, oh, there's this one bit, holy shit, man, it's so hard. And I'm like, yeah, once you get past that bit, the rest's actually not bad. And we're traipsing up this hill, and then before I knew it, I was at the top in the middle saddle thing, and I went, oh fuck, that was the really hard bit. That was a piece of piss. Like I
Yeah.
didn't slightly struggle, and the weather was horrendous. It was blowing wind, it was raining on me. And I thought, I'm not even slightly out of breath, man. Like that was an actual doddle, and the whole way up, I was tracking what zones I was in for my heart rate. The whole way up the whole hill, I didn't even come out of zone one once. I was in. I was like, it was so low heart rate, and there's bits of it like that. I was like, fucking hell, this running thing's really working
Yeah.
for me. But
Yeah.
where I'm really noticing the benefit of it is what's happening up here.
Yeah.
It's allowing me to just, you know, I don't run with music. I don't run. You know, I try and run myself. I've got a one running buddy that I go out with fairly regularly, but where I can, I run myself, and it just really helps me to just bring my thoughts back into like some kind of fucking normality, man. I mean, sometimes I figure things out when I'm running. Some things I don't. Sometimes my mind just goes a million miles an hour, and I can start off thinking about what I'm going to have for my tea, and then the next thing I'm thinking about what colour of curtains I'd like to hang up in the living room. Do you know what I mean? There's like it can vary, but
Yeah.
it's just it's such a meditative thing to go through that process and finish it and be like, holy shit, man! Right, I just ran X amount of distance, and you know I didn't have any distraction. There was nothing else going on. It was just me versus me to get
Yeah.
from this point here to this point here. And I've managed it. Do you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like fucking hell, man. It's such a good exercise, not just for your physical health, but also for your mental health as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Oh, it's a massive one. Like in that one, like as you said, it's like you hate the doing of it. Like that kind of like you have to really psych yourself up to do it. I think like that's one of the things that's so fucking important. And like I know for myself, like back like 6, 7 years ago, like that's where like I got obsessed with like ice baths back then because that was one of the things that helped me so much to deal with a lot of the stuff that I was going through mentally. Because like that's the thing, like even still to this day, is like I never look forward to getting into the fucking cold water. I never look forward to turning that shower on cold. Like it's like I don't think like I've never fucking enjoyed it, but I know the benefit of doing it. And like at that time back then, like I was doing like ice baths, like proper fucking ice baths, like 3, 4 times a week easy. Because that was me deciding to do something that I really don't want to do and doing it anyway, and the benefit that was coming from that. I was like, I couldn't give shits about the physiological benefits. It's like I was going there for the mental benefits. And then it's like how quick like I started playing games with myself with it is like instead of doing all like the prep stuff and the breathing stuff and everything before getting into the water, I would just literally, all right, I'm fucking feeling like crap. Don't want to do this, strip off and get into the water as quick as possible and get myself into it like a calm breathing state as quick as possible with that rather than doing all of the prep stuff and everything. Is like because again, that's where you're teaching yourself how to do hard things. You're teaching yourself how does your body adapt to stressful situations in real life. And like it's the same with running. It's like something you don't want to do, but you're doing it anyway, and that's you building that internal resilience, that's building that confidence and trust in yourself. And again, it's like for most fucking guys, it's like we need that stuff.
yeah, man, we do. We do. I think you kind of touched on this earlier about the doing of hard things. Like I think doing hard things and just doing hard things in the room without doing any kind of inner work and looking at yourself reflectively, I don't think that's as beneficial as it could be.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
this whole year for me, man, has been a big year of self-discovery. Like I've really taken a step back from kind of pushing business and different things and looking at, you know, where things that have triggered me or where I've maybe been a bit short-tempered with Cameron or, you know, where can I be a better husband? How can I be a better dad? I've read books on parenting and just looking at certain things and really trying to just do the work. Like the years prior to that, I was reading sales books and marketing books and this, and I was like, oh, you know, I must understand internet marketing. I've got to be fucking the best ever at this. And I've thought, do you know what? This isn't helping me, man. Like, it's really not helping me. I need to take a step back. I've not read one of those books at all this year. I started reading one called Marketing Lessons from the Grateful Dead. And the only reason I read that is because I like the Grateful Dead. I like the band. And it was quite an interesting book. I was like, holy shit, never knew that about them. That's pretty good. So I've read that. Everything else has been about parenting, self-development, masculinity, all these kind of things all
mm,
about helping make me better. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I've listened to audiobooks on running, but I've not looked at a marketing book, I've not looked at a sales book, I've not looked at a copywriting book, I've looked at none of that shit, man, because quite frankly, it actually doesn't even interest me. Like I want to make me better, I want to be the best I can, and then put out content that would then help other people to be the best they can be. Do you know what I mean? hopefully benefiting everybody around me at the same time. But going back to the hard things, I also think that just doing that on its own isn't enough, because just reading about it and doing fuck all with it doesn't get you anywhere. You need to be out taking some kind of action. So reading all these books, and if we go on if we touch on the masculinity thing just for a second, a few of the books I kind of read were all talking about, you have to be putting yourself in adverse situations. You have to put yourself into difficult circumstances so you can learn to deal with those things. And I fully agree with that. I think that is absolutely. Now, this is one of the reasons I do jiu-jitsu. Have you ever done jiu-jitsu before?
No, it's there. It's coming. It'll come.
Oh, mate,
It's
there's nothing. Jiu-jitsu sucks. Like, it absolutely sucks, man. See when you're lying on the floor, pinned by a 15-year-old boy. Like, this happened to me 2 weeks ago. Pinned to the floor, can't fucking move, and he's got you pinned down, and he's trying to rip your arm off while his fucking balls are at your face. Like, that's a shit situation to be in, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're wiggling like fuck, and you can't get out. Like, at that point there, you like, obviously, to get out of a move, you would tap. You want to tap because it's uncomfortable. It's like, I don't want your fucking junk in my face. Do you know what I mean? And you've got my arm wrenched up behind my back somewhere, and I'm pinned to the floor. I can't breathe properly. This sucks. This is a really shit situation. But it's not actually that sore. So, like, from
yeah,
I need to tap out because you're going to break my arm. No, I could actually hold on to that position. And it really teaches you to think, well, do you know what, man? Is this painful to the point that I'm going to lose an arm? Are you going to break my arm? Or is it just uncomfortable? Because if it's
yeah,
just uncomfortable, I could probably hold on to that, man. Even like some of the chokes that go on, like, do you know what? Yeah, okay, I can't breathe properly, but I can still breathe. Like,
mm,
I can still move it a wee bit. If I can just get my arm in here and just push you back, right? Okay, now I can breathe a whole lot more. And it just teaches you to sit instead of panicking and going, fuck, and then trying to wriggle, and then you end up getting strangled anyway, or you lose your arm. It teaches you to just sit and go, oh, do you know what, man? This is actually not that bad.
yeah,
Okay, I do have your junk in my face. I don't want it in my face. I'd rather not have that. But can I maybe move this way and just get my head out the way a wee bit? Okay. Now I'm slightly more comfortable.
yeah,
Working here, and it just gives you that kind of resilience in your head to be able to kind of push through that really difficult situation. And the same goes with running, man. I ran that half marathon like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, and oh dear God Almighty, man, I got to 19k and I wanted to stop. I was done. I was like, oh man, I actually can't feel my legs. They're vibrating and I'm still trying to run on them. This is horrendous, man. I just want to stop. And the only thing that kept me going was I knew that Hazel and Cameron were at the finish line. And I was like,
yeah,
if I walk over that finish line, I'm going to let my daughter see what it's like to quit. And I don't want that. I don't want her to see that I quit. I don't want to quit. One of my goals was to run this whole thing without stopping, and I will make that fucking happen. I don't care if I've got to crawl over that line. I will make that happen. And there's a video of me coming over the line, man. It was not pretty. It was filed the whole way up until about 19 kilometres, and then the arse fell out. I was like, oh, this is really shite. But that last 2 kilometres, man, was probably the most valuable fucking 2 kilometres of my entire life up till that point.
yeah,
Other than like my daughter being born, all that. But you know what I mean? From a mental health and being able to
yeah,
push the adversity standpoint, it was so fucking valuable because I was then able to go or realise that I can actually do a little bit more than I thought I could do.
mm,
When I'm faced with something that's really difficult, do you know what? I actually can handle that, man. I don't need to freak out. I don't need to panic. I don't need to shit my pants because this is difficult. And now things that I would have maybe seen difficult 6 months ago, I'm looking at now going, that's actually not that difficult, man. That's not
yeah,
that big of a situation. And I could probably deal with that in a much more calm and balanced way. And I think that's where the value of doing difficult things really does come in, as long
yeah.
as you're doing the other work to go along with it. And when you get the two of them working hand in hand, that's when I think you can make some real progress in your life.
Yeah,
Right?
it's massive. It's fucking massive, dude. Like, it's preach it, like, because that's that's the biggest thing. Like, and I know it's like that's probably the one that grinds me the most with the work that I do is like because I have conversations with lots of guys who are looking for help and looking for the magic fucking bullet and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, like they consume so much information because there's so much information available to us, but they're not willing to actually put in any action to make a change. And like it's like that specifically is the reason. Like the tagline from a business is nothing changes until you change.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And it's like you need to fucking take action. It's like nothing's gonna change until you take some sort of action that's doing differently than what you're currently doing.
Mm, yeah. I just said that to a guy today, actually. Not that, but about the implementation.
Yeah.
Put up like a free course on a post or something. He's said something about getting more information is always good. And my reply to that instantly was, well, yeah, more information is good. However, more information can be bad if you're not implementing what you've learned. Like
Yeah.
implementation is the key. You have to do the thing. It's okay knowing what to do, but if you don't fucking do anything, then nothing changes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
And that's the thing, like, and it's like, it's again, it's like too many of us are too worried about consuming more and more information, whereas like actually let go of half of the fucking information you consume and just action what it is. And like for me myself, I know in the last 2 years, I have dramatically reduced the amount of stuff that I've been consuming, like courses, like fucking books, like podcasts, like all like learning material, all of that sort of stuff. It's like I have stopped listening to a lot of that sort of stuff because again, it's like I don't need to fucking put more noise in. I just need to action the stuff that I already know and the stuff that's there. And like every now and again, something will pop out. It's like, right, that's something that I'm gonna learn and I want to implement. But like I'm not taking in stuff just for the fucking sake of taking it in and not doing anything with it.
yeah. And I think that's so key, man, because it then goes back to the whole noise thing that we were speaking about with looking at your phone, listening to music, watching the news, like this. Even too much of the right kind of information can clutter up your brain, and you
Yeah,
end up with just so much shit in there that you end up you're completely paralysed by your own thoughts. You end up doing nothing because you've got so much fucking information. It's like, well, what the hell do we do? Like if
yeah,
you look at what I'm doing from a weight loss perspective, man, I see this shit all the time. People are looking, oh, should I try keto? Should I try fucking the carnivore diet? Or maybe I should go and try this. No, I'm going to become vegan. I'm going to try that. No, dude, like what you doing? I know, but this guy on the internet said that if I do this and this, if I skip my meals for this part of the day, and if I do, mate, fucking go out for more walks, lift some weights, and eat a bit more protein and veg. Just do that. Do that. And do that for 6 months and then come back and let me see how you're doing. Like that's it. Do nothing else except that. I
yeah,
guarantee you'll start to notice a difference. You
yeah,
know, you don't need all this other information and this different shit. Just do the things that were like let's look at fucking animals out in the savannah that are chasing buffalo around. Like they're not doing different diets or doing like hit workouts that they find on YouTube. They're lazing about, relaxing and chilling out, like releasing, like not feeling stressed because they're lying under a tree in the sun. They're having a good time. Then they're waking up and going, I'm a bit fucking peckish. I'm going to chase that bastard thing. So they chase it. There's a bit of exercise. They're running about. They kill the bloody thing. There's a bit of resistance training. Then they eat it. It's protein. Cool. What do they do after that? They go and have a sleep. Then they get back up and do the same shit again. They move a lot. They eat the right foods. And then they don't get stressed out. Boom, there you go. Like be a fucking lion. You know what I mean? Honestly, man, we don't need all this crazy amounts of information. Just
yeah,
implement the really simple, basic stuff and do it consistently, and you're going to start to see changes in your life, like for
yeah,
sure. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. No, it's such a big one. Like it really is. Like, and but that's one of them things. Just like people are just looking for quick fixes. People are just looking for, oh, but that didn't work for me. It's like, did you actually do it properly?
Yeah, man.
Or is that just a story that you're playing out because you didn't want it? Because it's probably too hard to do some of them things, or like it doesn't fit your story that you have. It's like I don't have time to work out. It's like, do you not?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's one of the big things. Like again, it's like I work specifically with busy fathers, and like the number one excuse is like, I don't have fucking time to do that for anything for myself. It was just like, get your phone out there. Look at how many hours you fucking spent this week on social media.
Yeah,
And it's like you do have time. You don't have a time problem. You have a priority problem.
yeah, man. 100%.
And like people don't like to hear that because you've been called out.
Yeah, man.
And it's like for myself, it's like I made a commitment to myself last year, like because moving back from Australia, been 12 years in Australia, moving back to Ireland, I knew this year was going to be a fucking shit show coming back to Ireland. Like it was going to be a big challenge and stress for everyone, for my kids, for my wife, for all of us to adapt to this new environment. Plus, throw in like a pregnant wife with her fourth kid in the mix of it. Like I was like, these next 6 months are going to test me to no level. So it was like, this is where I need to double down on myself rather than give in. So I was like, oh, it's just going to be a crazy time. I don't have time to do all of this other stuff myself. It was like, I need to double down on looking after myself to be able to hold myself through this as well as to be able to hold them through this because I know it's going to be really challenging for all of us. And that's when I made a commitment to myself to do certain things, to up my exercise, up my food focus, up my self-care stuff like my breathing, my journaling, all of them sort of practices. And like by doing so, it's like, yeah, I didn't have the fucking time to do it because I'm running a business. I've got 3 kids. I've got lots of other things going on, many plates spinning, but it's like I focused on what is the priorities for myself. there's been many times come 10 o'clock at night, kids are finally down, Mrs. passes out, I come down, tidy up the fucking house, clean up all of the crap in the house, put out the bins, do all of that stuff, and it's 10:30 at night, and it was like, I didn't get a chance to do a workout tonight or today. It's easy for me to just go to bed and call it quits because it was too busy. But it was like, no, I said I'm saying I'm doing something. So headphones on, kettlebell comes out, and I do a workout.
Yeah, man. That there's the important thing. And I've been preaching that for the last 6 months. If you say you're going to do a thing, do the fucking thing.
Yeah.
That's so important for men, man. We spend so much time saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do that," and then we don't fucking do it. No, fuck that. Fuck
Yeah.
that. Have to stick
Yeah.
to it.
And like again, like there's times when that like I put my hands and says like there's times where I've had to do that at fucking 10:30 at night because there could have been an opportunity to do it earlier in the day, like or in the evening time when the kids are occupied and stuff. But it's just like as I was saying earlier, it's like being fried, being stressed, falling into an old coping mechanism, like oh, I'll just sit down and like I'll watch something with the kids because that's easier, or you spend fucking a bit too long doing checking something on your phone and then you end up in a scroll hole for 20-30 minutes. It's like that was like the guts of a workout there that I could have done rather than having to do it 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, man, for sure. Do you know you just touched on this? I'm looking at time. I want to be respectful of your time as well, man. I could quite happily blather on for ages with this. It's awesome. You spoke about being called out earlier. I was working with a business coach, not this year, was it last year? Maybe a year ago about this time. And I used the time excuse, man. I did. Like I was speaking about my business, like, oh man, I don't have the time. Like, so for anybody that doesn't know anything about kind of online business, man, like the most online business coaches will tell you to add their Brazilian friends on Facebook or Instagram, and then send those people relentless amounts of direct messages, and and truth be told, man, I hate it. I've never enjoyed it. I didn't like it. I could never get into it, and then get people onto calls and make them feel shit about themselves and charge them a fucking ridiculous amount of money for a 6 week course. And if they tell you that they can't pay it, make them feel even more shit and just tell them they don't want it enough. And oh man, I hated it. I genuinely hated it. And because I was resistant to doing it, I was then told I didn't want it enough. I was like, oh man. And then, I said to my coach at the time, I was like, man, I don't have the time to do all these fucking DMs and make content and live life and be a dad and this and that. And then, he looked at my time for my day. He's like, yeah, well, you do have the time. You're just choosing to go to the gym instead. I was like, fuck. Okay, cool. And that was the catalyst then for me to stop and say, right, well, do you know what, man? What is my priority here? Like, what are my actual priorities in life?
Yeah.
Where I'm drilling myself into the floor, sending countless amounts of DMs, like, and not enjoying my life. Do I want that? And have
Yeah.
the financial gain that goes with that? Is that what drives me? Or do I want to be the fittest, healthiest, most kind of emotionally and spiritually balanced version of myself that can then show up and be the best dad that I can be, and the best husband that I can be, and the best
Yeah.
example to the people that I'm trying to help, by just
Yeah.
posting what I'm doing? And is that more appealing to me? Yes, it fucking is, man. So does it mean that my business takes a back step? Yeah, absolutely. Am I happy with that? Yeah, because it's something that I'm now choosing. It's not that I don't have the time. I do have the time, but it's a trade-off that I'm willing to make, because I don't want to do that. What apparently we need to do to have a massively thriving business. I don't want to do that because I don't like it. What I do
Yeah.
want to do is get healthy, get fit, be a dad, be a good fucking dad, be a good husband. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
help as many people along the way as I possibly can. If people want to work with me as a client for me to help them, and they want to come to me and talk to me, of course, yeah, cool, let's have that conversation, man. I'm not going to ask you to remortgage your house to work with me. I don't work like that. Do you know what I mean? Not anymore. Like, I've done that part, man. It's not for me. But it was
Yeah.
a conscious choice, and I needed that coach to say to me, no, I'm calling you out, man, because it's not that you don't have the time, you're choosing
Yeah.
something different. And now when
Yeah.
I look back on that, yeah, I did choose something different, and I'm fucking so happy that I did, because I'm now
Yeah.
so much happier than I was back then when I was just constantly glued to my computer, pinging DM after DM after DM to people that didn't want me to fucking DM them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They don't want me sliding at their DMs. Hi, John, how are you? Great to meet you. Fuck off, Ian, you slaving prick. Yeah, it just didn't ever work for me. It never worked, man, and I was so resistant to it. But I needed that. I needed that kick up the arse and that bit of reality to say, no, do you know what, man? Stop using that as an excuse, because I was using it as an excuse,
Yeah.
and I know why I was using it, because I didn't like what I was having to do. So I used
Yeah.
something else excuse to get me out of there. I didn't take responsibility. Whereas now I look and go, yeah, do you know what, man? I don't have a 20, 30 grand a month business because I chose not to. I didn't put the work in. I didn't do what was needed to do to have that. And I'm
Yeah.
doing that because I don't
Yeah.
like the model. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think sometimes it just takes that wee something, that wee spark, that wee kick up the arse, that wee bit of whatever it may be, to just make you look at it and go, well, fuck, okay, cool. Yeah, put my hand up, 100%. And going back to what you said at the very start, man, taking responsibility. You need to
Yeah.
take that responsibility for yourself. Eh? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, like it's such a big thing, like, and it's such a credit for yourself, like to see that, but to stand your ground was like, right, that actually feels right for yourself and how you want to run your business. Because again, like I'd been in fucking business masterminds with the same fucking thing that was told at me, and I was like, that just feels so fucking ick. And like I'd done it for a while, and like the clients that I were getting from it were fucking shit because they didn't want to be there. Like they were just like, it was just like, this is not how what is set up for. And I know I can met some really good people who were doing the same things in the same masterminds, and they were fucking killing it within their business, but none of them were doing their business anymore
Yeah, man.
because they were killing it within their business. It didn't feel right, but they were doing it anyway, and they got to a point where I was like, I do not want to build a business that I fucking hate.
Yeah, man.
And they just end up packing it all in because it was like, no, it just is not right. Whereas, yeah, it's just, yeah, I think it's kind of like speaking your truth, walking the walk, and knowing the right people are going to come in.
That's it, man. Yeah, that's it. I think as long as you're focusing on the right things, man, and doing the right things, and kind of, as you say, focusing on the right things, talking to the right people, then good things are going to happen in your life. It's for sure. It has to. You know what I mean? And it goes going back to what we spoke about earlier. If all you're focusing on is shit, then you're going to get more shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So yeah, man. Dude, this has been awesome. That's been
yeah,
an hour. That's flown by. Like holy shit! I can't believe that's been
man,
an hour. Like
that
fucking
has
hell.
been a quick hour.
And we didn't even go on to the running stuff. Oh, we
I
touched on
know, I know,
that
I
wee bit.
know, I know. It's like I need to get a few runs back into my legs so I can talk about it proper. I've been a bit slack this last month or two.
I want to run an ultra marathon next year, but I need to know how much pain that's going to cause me. So, all kinds of pain.
Yeah, yeah, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's like once you, it's yeah, it's so much of it is it's a head game. Like ultras and stuff like that is it's a head game. It's like, and that's the biggest thing. Like, it's like, and that's the beauty with it. It's like once you have the engine down, like, and like it's it, your body is like the running technique. Like the rest of it's the fucking head game.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you what, man. If you are open to it, maybe a few weeks down the line, we can maybe have another one of these and have a wee chat about some running stuff. And because I've had my videos of these of late, the intention has been, of what I've told everybody that's watching, is to kind of mix up, some fat loss, my own personal journey with running, a few interviews of this nature, but also a few interviews with people that are more accomplished runners than myself to maybe help kind of give some
Yeah.
info to help people with their own running journeys. So if you're open to it, we can maybe get you back on, and we'll do a deep dive into all
Yeah.
things running and ultra running and all that cool stuff, because you do it in sandals. Like what the fuck?
I need to get a new pair. Like man broke now, so like they've been ran into the ground fucking over the last year. So I have to get a new pair of them.
Well,
But
man,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. It'll be awesome. So guys, listen. Thank you so much for everybody for tuning in and watching this. Finn, tell everybody where they can get more of you and what you do.
yeah. So for myself, just come over and give me a follow on the Grounded Father on Instagram. That's probably where I'm most active. And yeah, like I just got a new program that's starting at the end of the month, which is creating a community for fathers. This is it's the Grounded Father community, which is over on School, which is a cool platform. So like looking forward to getting that all set up, and it's gonna be a really exciting project that I'm working into now.
Yeah, superb, man. Awesome. Well, guys, listen, take it from personal experience. I've worked with Finn in the past. Go and check out what he's doing. He's got some really, really great content, and his programs are fucking awesome. So, definitely helped me when I was in a bit of a dark place a couple of years back. So, definitely go and check him out. Send him a wee message, have a chat. Yeah, awesome stuff. And like I said earlier, if you got anything from this, maybe drop us a wee comment down below. If you've got any questions, let us know. And like and share and do all that good shit so we can get more of these videos out to the world. So Finn, thank you very much. I look forward to the next one.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you soon. Take care. Cheers.